So, the pros and cons. I think the important thing to talk about from the pros and cons perspective with this device is having that power of two screens and multitasking is really impressive. Uh, Taking notes, for example, super easy. You can use the pen from Microsoft and write on it. It works pretty well. The unlock is really nice. It's right here. This little dip right here is the thumb reader. So I just put my thumb on it and it unlocks almost instantly. It is really, really fast. Um, so that's really nice. I've never seen any device have something like that, and it works really well. The spanning works pretty well. Rotating works pretty well. It is a little slow on the rotation, just a tad. I think they could probably tweak that maybe a half a second or a half a millisecond faster, and I think that would make the usability experience really, really well. If you're living in a Microsoft ecosystem, basically using Office 365 and other products like that, this device is going to just crush it for you. It is
Yeah.
really going to be a solid device. I love it. I really like it. I'm glad I purchased it. I'd have to say the thing that's taken me the most challenge is I'm just not an Android person. I came from iPhone. I think that kind of just pushes me to have to learn the Android culture.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's
Um,
very different. It's very different than Apple. It really is.
Here's another feature that I do like. I'll show you here. It's the
The
where you can
split.
pair the apps
Yeah.
together. I do like that. So, for example, I like to do Feedly. So that's an app that I like to do. So it's going to bring up my different feeds and security stuff, and then it brings up my feeds that I have for me to look plus YouTube to look at. So, and that's just one click, and then it immediately brings up both those apps at the same time, which is a nice feature. And you can create those on
Yeah.
the fly, however you want to pair them, and it immediately throws them into the both the dual screen environment. And scrolling between it is effortless. I mean, they did a great job with the YouTube app on here.
Mhm.
Also, the LinkedIn app is incredible. It's nice, full, robust. So it does a great job, and it spans. Like if I wanted to flip and span it, it does a good job there. So there's just so many great things about it. So I would say this device is designed perfectly for somebody that is running in the Microsoft ecosystem and they want to be really efficient in that. And there's probably nothing out there that is as good as this. But Microsoft decided when they came out with this device that they wanted to do it in a way that they shaded the box for that productivity fully, and they did. They shaded the box really well. But they basically gave up in some other areas and conceded it.
Mhm.
And an example of that would be the technology. Like has an older Snapdragon processor, so they kind of decided not to put the newer one in here. This doesn't have near field communication. In other words, you can't do like pay and come up and just tap and pay. It doesn't have that
Yeah.
capability. It doesn't have the ability to put it on there to like charge without plugging it in. Like a lot of the devices now have that. It does not have 5G, which is interesting. No 5G support. For some
Mm.
people, that may not be a big deal based on where they're at. And you know, some people are like, "Wow, why are you going? Why do you like this if it doesn't have all those features?" Those aren't as big a deal for me. But the one thing, there are two things that are annoying for me that I do find challenging, is the camera, not necessarily the camera quality, but the fact that the camera is placed only on the inside is really challenging. So if I have my phone closed and let's say that Kaylee wants me to take a photo of her, I've got to open it up, fold it around, launch my phone app, rotate it to the right axis, get it to start behaving correctly. You know,
Mhm.
so I click on the phone app here, like right, so I have it. Now I have to flip it around. So
Mm.
now I can take a photo. So if you're wanting to take a photo, it's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah. The kid's birthday is already done.
Right, yeah,
You've
pretty
already eaten
much.
the cake.
It doesn't quite handle really good in low light. So, like for example, I was trying to do some barcode scanning of some devices and things. Uh, my iPhone would easily scan in that lighting. This one wouldn't because it just doesn't quite have the ability to grab in the darkness. The image quality is okay as long as you're in decent light. It just doesn't have as good a lighting compensation as the iPhone. and it's nowhere as high a quality image. So if you're somebody that really has a lot of kids and you're going to be relying on this device to take good memories, your kid will be grown up by the time you get all those photos done. So definitely not for you.
Yeah.
But if you're maybe a workaholic or somebody that likes productivity, there really is nothing better than this device. What I suggest that they do different to make this product better. I really believe that this is a game changer because I think if they make just a few adjustments, it will own some of the spaces that it isn't currently occupying. I think what Microsoft did is they said, I'm going to put a flag on the mountains that I want to own, and we'll take these other mountains later. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so if they put a camera on the outside, that would be huge. They need to have a status window on the outside opposite of where the camera is so that you can see notifications without having to crack your phone. But if you have a watch, then you won't need that. The third option would be a huge game changer, and that is if they were able to release Windows Virtual Desktop, the application, and it would fully run on this. You could plug in your multiple monitors and basically power your desktop off this device because you're running your desktop in Azure, and this just becomes your thin client. That's a game changer. Basically, you just take your laptop and you don't need it anymore.
Chuck that thing out the window.
Right. So you just move your desktop to your tablet,
Yeah.
to this guy right here, and then when you come into your office, you just cradle it, run your Windows Virtual Desktop app, and then see multiple screens, and you're rocking. That would be a huge game changer.
That'd be crazy.
Because we use Windows Virtual Desktop. I'm currently using my desktop in the cloud right now. And that I would love this because now I don't really need to have a laptop except in those rare occasions where I'm going on site to a client to maybe do like some firewall configurations or things, and you have to plug in to do that. And in theory, you could even possibly do it with this device even then. So I could see in 1 or 2 generations that this device could potentially not only be your phone, be your multitask, have a great camera, and it removes the need for, in most cases, for you to have your laptop if you're in a corporate environment.
Yeah.
And holy cow, that is a massive game changer.
I would love to remove my laptop. It's one less device to worry about. It's true. And that looks like a mini laptop already.
Yeah. One last adjustment I think I would make on this. I think it's just a little too wide. They just need to narrow it maybe about a quarter of an inch to maybe 2/8, something.
How has it been fitting in like your pockets and stuff like that? Your hand? What have you noticed about that?
Pockets feel fine. I slide it in my front pocket. I tend to want to put it in my front pocket as much as possible just because it reminds me of, remember when the iPhone, when Apple came out with their Plus, right? That was a wider and bigger device.
Yeah.
And when it first came out, they didn't make it rigid enough, and so it bent.
Yeah,
and then,
there was a lot of people complaining about that.
Oh yeah, so many people had to. In fact, Apple, what they did is they just honored that it was a bug and just flat out replaced people at no charge for a lot of their. And that happened to mine. I had a Plus, which was bigger, and which was close to this size and width wise. The Plus is a little bit fatter and a little bit wider, and it was too bendable and it broke. So concerning. If you can see here, the rib on the back is metal.
Yeah.
This is a metal rib that goes across the back of this. So I think it definitely adds to the rigidity of the system. I don't think it will bend like you can see that in there. I don't think it will bend like the Plus did for the iPhone back then. But I'm still a little worried about it. And there hasn't been, that I've seen, anybody talking about that happening yet.
Yeah.
So I still do put it in my back pocket, but when I sit down, I do pull it out and either transition it into my front pocket or sit it down. It comes with these bumpers, which I have yet to install on mine, to help with if you drop it on the edge. It does come with Gorilla Glass. This is Gorilla Glass.
Mm.
So it is a very strong glass, which is nice. But yeah, just I think it's a little like this is me holding it. See how my fingers are just kind of peering over the side, whereas when I'm grabbing the iPhone, like I am owning it.
Yeah, you have
I
full
really
grip. Yeah.
full grip on it. So that's just a little unnerving a little bit, so when I fold it all the way around, right? And it's a little wonky when I'm trying to transition. See, now it flipped over to this side. I wasn't trying to do that, but it did. So when you try to transition to one-handedness, it is a little odd. I think they'll probably adjust that a little bit more with patching. But
Yeah.
see that I only have it. It's hard for me to get my thumb all the way over. So
Yeah.
you're really having to do it with two hands like this, right?
Yeah.
Which is fine. Um, but I just don't feel like I get quite a good grip. So if they just took off maybe just a little bit more, I think that would do it.
Yeah.
So I think the unit is just a tad wide. But
I can definitely see that. Yeah. I
and
don't
I
think it would be negative to take off just a little bit. I don't think
not
it
too
would be too
much.
small.
I would be willing to give up just a little bit of real estate just to feel like I have a little bit more control with one hand. Um, if you like trying to do multiple things while holding your phone
Good
in
luck.
one handed, yeah, this is dangerous to have one handed control on. Like just I'm gonna push my cart and do blah 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 blah, blah with this one hand.
I would totally break it then.
Yeah, I think it's
I'm
gonna
like
hit the ground.
flinging my phone around, grabbing 6 different things.
Right. Yeah, this is not a one-handed on-the-go type device. You really do need to have some kind of safety strap if you're going to be trying that. Uh,
Yeah. Honestly, the only thing that is stopping me right now is the camera. But that's because I am in marketing and I have to do that a lot. I have to be able to capture the moment. For a marketing guru, everything checks the box except that, and that's a huge part of it. But I want to multitask. Like give me that right away. I'm so ready for it. So it's like as soon as they release a better camera, I mean, I'm chucking my iPhone out the window. Like I'm ready for it, you know?
so I think that's a pretty fair assessment of the device. I do want to go over some cool aspects of it using that screen sharing that I was showing, and release some other things in the future just to kind of go over some more specifics. But I think this is a really good first impression of the product.